Steel boots stomping, crashing the floor. Two wild yinzers kicking through the door. Loud like a jag-off at a pins game fight. Brace yourself, this ride ain't polite. Two dumb yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice. Tales from the burg with a hint of mayhem. Pierogi powered, nothing can constrain them. Knocking back stories like an icy cold brew. You never know what these two might spew. Two dumb yinzers, loud and proud.
A lot of things, guys, today. Unbelievable for a Thursday.
Right?
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Welcome back to the show. This is episode 735 of the Two Dumb Yinzers. I want to say, everybody, this morning, welcome. Welcome back. Let's get started off by introducing the panel, just in case you don't know. Down right below me on the screen is Pittsburgh's own Finchy Fuqua. Finchy Fuqua, everybody. There he is. Finch, welcome back to the show.
Hello. I do not have much of a voice, but I still wanted to sit in today. So there's going to be a lot of, sound effects and craziness and booms and all that stuff. So
What happened
it's going
to
to be
your
a good
voice,
time.
man?
I don't know. Yesterday I was okay, and I was just like doing yard work all day, and I went inside and started talking, and there was no voice.
Oh, man.
What you gonna do?
Yeah, that's crazy, especially you didn't do anything, that's
No,
wild.
I'm not sick. I wasn't singing karaoke or screaming or nothing. It's just like it was gone, just gone. Bye, see ya.
In the corner next to me, you shouldn't be surprised. The man that takes his lunch break every day during this hour, Mike Muller. How you doing today, Mike?
I'm doing great. I took my lunch break actually earlier today, so we are good to go. There should be no distractions. I am well fed and ready to roll.
Guys,
Boom.
we have a lot of things. We got a lot of things we got to talk about today. I didn't think coming into Thursday that we would have the amount of things to talk about. So do sit back, everybody, and enjoy. Before we get into the Steelers, before we get into football, I want to just touch on something briefly. I want to talk about the Pirates, and again, just for a moment, because right now they are really exciting, but not for the right reasons. If you had seen or even, I don't know, caught the news, you seen what happened last night at the Pirate game out in right field from the Clemente wall. After Andrew McCutchen gets a big hit, a fan, and I got to be honest, I'm looking at this footage and I don't understand what happened. Everybody jumps up to celebrate the hit, and instead of stopping, he continues to go.
Yeah.
Over the banister, over everything, 21 feet down, still in critical condition. That's all the information we know at this time, as far as I know. And just another dent in this crazy ass Pittsburgh Pirates season. Something, it's the baseball gods. They're coming from Cooperstown, and they're bringing the wrath down on Bob Nutting and the Pittsburgh Pirates this year. If he would have just did what he said, guys, and went out and spent a little bit of money in the offseason and brought some help in, maybe, just maybe, this wouldn't be happening to this team right now. But unfortunately, this is what's going on. The Pirates are just a month into their season. Today's May 1st. Oh, with only a month in, they managed to piss everybody off in the Western Pennsylvania area. Who doesn't like baseball? Who didn't play baseball as a kid? Everybody loves the Pittsburgh Pirates. And it's not because they're a good baseball team. People want them to be good. Come on.
Yeah.
Three successful seasons in the last 33 years.
Woo.
So then last season, they cut their starting first baseman with 4 at-bats, so he doesn't get his bonus. Now people are pissed. Obviously pissed because we don't have a baseball. Come on, this is a rich franchise. It went all the way back to 1897. And Cooperstown would agree that there's plenty of great things that happen in this organization. But 33 years, you have 3 years you make the playoffs and don't get out of the first. You didn't advance. So, is that even a success? It kind of falls under the sun even shines on a dog's ass someday. law of average, you're going to get into the playoffs at some point.
Yeah.
But we're at the bare minimum, guys. On top of this, we were pissed. They come in. That South Park character, Bob Nutting. Come on, if anybody should be a South Park character, it should be Bob Nutting.
Yep. Yeah, definitely.
We'll be better next year, guys.
Trey Parker, you got to get in on this one, dude.
Here's some bobbleheads and fireworks. We'll be better next year.
Hey guys, would you like some bobbleheads and fireworks? It'll be good. Come to Seven Springs.
And all year, every year, it could be the same thing. And if they do any character that would be hilarious on that show, it would be Bob Nutting. And that stupid that face. He has a South Park face.
A very punchable face.
A very punchable face.
Yes, very much so.
Very punchable.
So here we are, a quarter of a century later, still going and enjoying the best ballpark in America. How much effort is this baseball team really putting in to being successful? You built a stadium 25 years ago. You're still selling that shit. People that are 24 years old were just born. Here you are, you're almost 30. And what have you really got to gain from having being a Pirates fan besides visiting the best ballpark in America, which kind of got old 20 years ago, in my opinion?
Yeah.
It still tops a lot of those lists, though.
It really does, but who cares
really
anymore?
Does. I know, it sucks.
You know, at this point, I'd rather have a winning team. I'd rather see them play at Brashear High School if they could put a winning baseball on the field. Wait a minute, I'm doing it all wrong. You shouldn't talk about the Pirates without doing this.
Hey,
there we go.
Better cover that brand on there, buddy.
Well, I got to be honest with you, Finch. It's very difficult to find a paper bag anymore.
Yeah, that's true. It
That's true. That doesn't have branding.
You're right.
So with that being said, I'm going to leave it right there because, maybe somebody, again, is wondering where I got this paper bag. But I'm going to talk about the Pirates like this from now on. You're never going to see me talk about this Pittsburgh Pirates team until Bob Nutting sells it or things get better without this stupid bag on my head.
You need to draw a Pirates P with an X through it.
Well, this is day one, Fitch. It's going to evolve.
Oh, we're going to improve. Okay, cool. Yeah.
I love the teardrops. I love the teardrops.
Yes.
The frowny face. Yes. This is perfect right here. I love it.
This is what we need. And you know what? Why I'm going to do this? Because you're not allowed to do this at the stadium.
So you're gonna choke to death. This is a safety hazard, so you have to remove it.
It's not a plastic bag, it's a paper bag, but you're not allowed to do this at the stadium for safety reasons. No, that's not it. Because the jackass team owner don't want to do anything to improve, and he doesn't want to take any accountability. It's bullshit. This is the new Pittsburgh Pirates hat that I will wear every day. And I'm going to be honest with you guys. You can start from the beginning of the season.
You sweating under there?
Well, I wanted to remain anonymous. I didn't want the Pirates to know that it was me. But since the beginning of the season, guys, come on. They covered the Clemente sign. Strike one. They threw away the Pirates bricks. Strike two. You didn't improve the team when you said that you was going to. You was going to give Ben Cherington a blank check to fix this team. And you went out and got a Jew that's been hurt for the first month of the season. By the way, Horowitz is back in rehab, and he is in Altoona at the time. But, Mike, this was the big pickup that we made in the offseason to make things better was I always want to call him Barry Horowitz. Spencer Horowitz. The injured Jew.
The injured Jew. You know what? The Steelers in the 70s had that tight end that was Jewish. They called him the rabbi. I think we should start calling Spencer Horowitz the rabbi. We're bringing it back. The rabbi.
The rabbi.
The rabbi.
Now a guy falls 21 feet. Again, I mean, he's in critical condition. What's going on? But just another strike on this Pittsburgh Pirates team, guys. And again, I wanted to get this out of the way. We're going to talk a lot of football today. We're going to talk a lot of Steelers, a lot of NFL. But, guys, it's just getting worse and worse. Sell this team, dude. You're an embarrassment.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that you're doing is wrong. And even if it's your motto and the way you do things, it's wrong. It's embarrassing. It's been embarrassing. And the only team that we're comparable to in this country, in the North America, in pro sports is the Cleveland Browns. I mean, come on. If you look at it, these two teams mirror one another.
Yep.
And the thing is, they're dumb up there. I just think that these guys are. I don't know what their deal is.
Greedy.
Just greedy.
Greedy.
Bob Nutting,
Greedy.
which I'm surprised Mike hasn't thrown in one of his shameless plugs yet for the Bob Nutting T-shirt.
Sell the team.
I was trying not to. You were going on a roll, so I didn't want to. But you know what?
And I got reason to believe. There it is, everybody. My shameless plug once again, right over Finch's face. Get on and get your Bob Nothing T-shirt. I'm sorry. There you go. There it is.
There you go.
But I got reason to believe that the Pittsburgh Pirates are pissed at us. I'm not going to get into it today, but I really do. I got reason to believe this. I got reason to believe this, guys, that the Pittsburgh Pirates are, in fact, pissed to some degree and definitely know. Again, I'm not going to touch it just maybe we'll talk about it a little bit more as time goes on because I have to confirm. I have to make sure what's going on is going on. Not just the way that it seems to me right off the bat, but again, sell the team. Dude, you're embarrassing yourself. And here's the thing. It's our team. We live here. We've always been here. And we're always going to be Pirates people until the day we die. We're from Pittsburgh. This hillbilly, I don't know where he's from. Where is he from? He comes in with a little bit of money and buys the team. You ain't got nothing more than we do. You see what I'm saying? One day he's going to go and he's going to leave and he's going to take his money and run. And we're going to still be here with the Pittsburgh Pirates. So people, I do recommend continue doing what you're doing. Continue being proactive at the stadium. I don't know if jumping to the turf is the way to go, which again, I am sure, I hope it was an accident. But again, this gentleman is still in critical condition. Just another strike on yet the young Pirates season, guys. And by the way, this team, Finch, they're on pace to win 59 games. That's worse than last year. This is after we were supposed to be improved upon with a blank check to Bob to Charrington. Mm-hmm. And we're projected to finish with 59 wins. So there you go, guys. I'm done. I'm not going to talk about this all day. I just wanted to get that off my chest, guys, because it's, again, I feel bad and I feel terrible. And thoughts and prayers go out to that person's family that fell.
T's and P's.
But it's just another day in the Pittsburgh Pirates world. It's just another day. All the guys that came and went and were great, and it was all in waste. Brian Giles was hitting home runs like crazy, all in waste.
Jason Bay,
Freddie
AJ
Sanchez,
Burnett, Freddie Sanchez,
Garrick. The list goes on.
Fantastic players.
Because these
Kenny
teams,
Lofton.
because these players, they go elsewhere and win World Series.
And they win, yeah. By the way,
why?
Bob Nutting's from Wheeling, West Virginia, so he's not too far out. Just wanted to throw that out there.
But that is a hillbilly, though.
Oh, definitely.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
For sure.
That's definitely
Wheeling.
hillbilly.
That's definitely.
Hillbillies addicted to gambling. That's what's in Wheeling. And meth, tons of meth.
So there you go. Take that, Bob. On the board. Good morning. Good morning, y'all. Good morning, Tortilla. I thought of you over the weekend. I'll have to tell you why in just a moment. Big John Stud, middle name Mud. Finchie sounds like gonorrhea symptoms.
I get around.
You don't want to know what they do on the Three Gooners. That's all I got to tell you. No protection. I can tell you this. Tortilla saw on the big screen at the PNC Park. It said, can I seventh inning stretch you out?
Whoa.
I don't know if that's what they are, but I thought
that's something they post on the big screen.
Yeah,
but I've seen it a few times over the course of the season so far, and every time I see it, I just laugh. I'm like, who comes up with this?
And then Mark Malone, good morning to you, my friend. He says, yeah, dudes are getting so drunk, they're falling out of the stands. I always thought that it would be a lot cooler to take your clothes off and just run on the field. And this cat, he's just, I don't understand what happened. I can't wait. Again, I feel bad. I'm not talking shit on him at all. But from the sitting position to the jumping up, celebrating position, and just like everybody stopped as they reached the high point of their jump, this guy did not.
Just kept going.
Front row, of course. What's the chances? And he just keeps going and down.
Yeah.
Appeared to head first from what I can see. I can't tell.
How long before they install some sort of nets or something above that wall in front of that fence? They're probably doing it as we speak.
You're right. But you're not allowed to put a paper bag on your head, Finch.
But you can't right, exactly. You can't wear.
I mean, that would be unsafe.
Can't take an umbrella into the game even.
No, but you can get liquored up all day before the game
and jump 21 feet
and all night in the game. Allegedly, well, I'm not saying that he was drunk, but just saying in general, can go get liquored up, but God forbid you put a plastic bag or a paper bag over your head.
Maybe. I don't want to get into it because these people, of course, have to deal with the legalities and stuff. So let them deal with what they have to deal with. I'll leave my unwarranted expertise to myself. We will continue and move on. But Mike, Finch, guys, everybody, the Pittsburgh Pirates back at it today. They did win yesterday. They evened the series with the first place Cubs after a 4-3 win. Pirates improved to 12-19. Brian Hayes and Brian Reynolds both have 2 hits. Cruz, Bart, Gorski, Valdez, and Kutch all have a hit. Bednar picks up the save. Frazier's 11-game hitting streak broke with no hits. Pirates will be back at it today in just an hour and 15 minutes from now. They go at it with the Cubs for Game 3, the deciding game, the rubber match, if you will. Paul Skeens on the bump, coming in with a 3-2 record, 2.39 ERA and 39 strikeouts on the season. He's taking on the Cubs starter Colin Ray, who's 1-0 with an 0.96 and 19 strikeouts. They wrap it up today, and then they go start a series at home again tomorrow with the San Diego Padres throughout the weekend. But again, guys, the Pirates are on pace for a 59-103 record. 59-103. Guys, we're only through the first month. It only gets worse from here. We live this every year. It's like Groundhog Day. It's worse than Groundhog's Day.
Well, it's, you can set your clock to it, man, that this team is gonna suck. At least like the last 2 years they had, like, they were quasi-competitive at the beginning, gave you a little bit of hope. Last season we had the countdown to Paul Skeens coming in. Now all we have is Paul Skeens and can O'Neill Cruz keep up like the 40-40 pace going. But that's about it, because we know they're not going to win anything. We know the ownership is not going to add anybody. We know if he does allow us to add anyone, the GM's going to go out and get someone who sucks. So his best move really during the Ben Sherrington era is picking Joey Bart up off the scrap heap and finding out, what, he can still be a competent major leaguer. So I have no hope for this team. And, I thought they would have a losing record just below 500. I did not think it would be damn near 30 games below 500.
They look as bad as they ever. Listen, guys.
Yeah.
Listen, and on offense, they have the 26th, by team average, 26th in the majors. On base percentage, 24th place.
Mm-hmm.
Slugging percentage, 28th place. On base percentage, 27th place. Home runs, 23rd place.
Yep.
Runs, 25th place. And even with the good pitching staff, guys, with arguably one of the best pitchers in this generation, overall the pitching ERA is 20th in the league. It's in relief pitching is 18th in the league. Let me read you this, guys, and then we will move on. I promise. This was the statement from the Pittsburgh Pirates about the guy falling last night. Tonight, during the 7th inning of the game at PNC Park, an adult male fell from the right field bleachers onto the field of play. Pittsburgh EMS, as well as the Pirates and Cubs athletic training teams and other PNC Park personnel reacted and responded immediately and administered care. He was transported to the Allegheny General Hospital. No further information is available at this time. Our thoughts and prayers, blah, 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 blah. So there you go, guys. Welcome to Pirate season.
Yeah. Bucko Fever.
Bucko Fever, baby. We got it.
This is why they play 162. I got to get that T-shirt ready to be plugged too. For when every time Derpy says it, I can just have that ready to go. But yeah,
Tortilla Jackson says fans walking the plank at Pirate games.
Jesus Christ!
I mean,
Nailed
literally, they should just put a plank right over that field wall, and you could
just have Nutting up there with a sword, just poking them to fall. Like, go run, do it.
John says the Pirates sucking and Ryan's belching mid-sentence are the way of the universe.
This is the way.
But guys, that's the case. And one more baseball thing that I think is worth mentioning, not Pirates related, not even Pittsburgh related, but there was a well-known gentleman. He was an older gentleman. He died. He was in the with the Mets organization. I don't even know what he did. But I do want to say rest in peace to Seymour Wiener.
Yeah.
Seymour Wiener.
Saw that.
I
That
saw
was his
that.
name, yeah.
From
R.I.P.
the New York Mets, Seymour Wiener.
Can I say one thing real quick about the
Please.
Buccos before we go on? All I want to say is
Yeah. Tortilla says you can beat the Angels. You can't beat the Angels. Join them. They are literally the only team we beat. The Angels, we beat them.
Oh,
We won.
Jesus Christ. You can't beat the Angels. Join them. It took a second. That was a slow burn for me
But
to get what Tortilla was saying. I like it.
you know, when on Tortilla, I thought of you this weekend. Mike had stuff here for tacos at the studio. We were talking about having Taco Tuesday on Tuesday. And he bought a pack of tortillas. It literally says real big right on the front, tortillas. And I was going to put a big, right, Jackson underneath
Jackson.
it. But I just figured I would talk about it instead. So good morning, everybody. Welcome back. Welcome back to the show. This is the Two Dumb Yinzers, episode 735. Let's get into the real stuff. Let's get into the important stuff, guys. We're going to talk football today. And we're going to talk Pirates or Steelers. We're going to talk NFL. A lot of things going on, guys. So what I'm going to start today is with the important things. What's going on with the Steelers teams, Finch? The AB tweet that got everybody talking here in Pittsburgh. Yes, guys, the Antonio Brown tweet. If anybody caught this, bear with me if you haven't. Guys, this tweet was by Antonio Brown. It was, he says this. Ben Roethlisberger, still mad, angry orange face. His sister, suck my dick, 2021 Pro Bowl. Antonio Brown's latest tweet on X, formerly known as Twitter. One more time, AB, it's certified right here. Ben Roethlisberger, space, still mad, orange pissed off face, space. His sister, space, suck my dick, space, 2021 Pro Bowl. Mike?
I believe it.
AB being AB being AB. Oh, man.
It
I
makes
love
you
it.
wonder why he just posted this like completely out of nowhere. Like,
You know,
if
3 months I would have thought that, Finch, but everything he posts seems to be like
I
that.
understand that. Like, I could see, like, if Ben posted something like,
Right.
shady towards AB or his playing, and then AB coming back with something hardcore like that would be a pretty epic comeback tweet that he
Right.
posted. Like, if Ben, says something fucked up and it's like retweet, oh yeah, well, he's still mad because that makes sense. But like, why? What was said? Did Ben say something in an interview recently or something? I don't know.
Like, AB is just I just pulled up AB's Twitter 4 hours ago. Tom Brady tried to really hold me back when he found out his wife was on dick. I mean, I could just go for a whole show just reading AB
That's
unhinged
awesome.
tweets here. Zay Flowers got sued by white bitch. He beat up 100x got Vince. What the fuck is going
What's with
on?
the cadence of his like?
Hollywood Brown,
I know.
not my cousin, just little dick, riding it from Broward.
John says Pro Blow Bowl.
Global 21.
In response to that Ben Roethlisberger tweet, AB says, ask Carly, maybe he's trying to say Charlie, or James Harrison, a fact.
Maybe Carly is Ben's sister.
That's what I thought.
Okay,
I
could
think
be.
that is Ben's sister's name.
Well, you never know with AB.
Yeah, he could have meant Charlie or so. So what is he suggesting that that these guys watched it go down? Like,
Could be.
man, people
Hey.
are weird.
You don't know what these jock types do whenever they
Dude, like these tweets I've been reading from AB, they just started like 5 hours ago. This dude's fucking nuts. 6 in the morning.
So I just thought that could certainly lighten up the mood, guys.
That-
But let me get into, Mike, this is according to a lot of sources how the Steelers drafted. We're not going to get into too much draft talk, obviously, because we're only 3 months away from camp. We're only 2 weeks away from the schedules being released for the NFL. But let me give you the grades on what some people said that the Pittsburgh Pirates or Steelers graded as, during this year's draft. Mel Kiper Jr. Everybody listens to Mel Kiper Jr. Mel Kiper Jr. says The Steelers draft was a B minus. A B minus. Pro Football Focus. Pro Football Focus says the Steelers draft, guys, was a B plus. Sporting News says the Steelers draft was an A. Sports Illustrated says the Steelers draft was an A. NFL.com says the Steelers draft was an A. USA Today gave it a B plus. And Pete Prisco from CBS, guys, gave it a C plus. And we had different grades, on the show the other day. We did put a poll up. So as it's all said and done, you had roughly, half a week to talk about it and think about it. What did this draft come out to you guys? Are you 100% thoroughly happy? Is there things that could have been done instead of that could have made more sense to you?
I would have liked a defensive back, but where they were picking some of these guys later in the draft, I think that they got guys of value there. So, not every draft is going to, get every need, but they hit a lot of the places that they need filled. Yeah. So I'm happy with the positions. I'm happy with the players. Like I said, I give it a strong B plus, and, we'll find out, if we have any immediate impacts, in a couple months, and we really won't know the grade of this draft class for another 2 to 3 years, but I like it. We got a quarterback. We knew we weren't finding our guy. So, all right, let's get someone who can be a high quality backup, potential starter down the road. Check. Running back, check. D lineman, check. Depth on defense.
Mike, can I cut you 1 second? Just ask you a question.
Yeah.
Do you think maybe that Will Howard may be the quarterback of the future for the Steelers? Because a lot of people are saying the same thing.
Yeah.
They're like, we got a quarterback to fill the space, but we're still looking for our quarterback of the future.
Yeah.
At what point would we know that this is even a potential with next draft coming to Pittsburgh? And a lot of anticipation, people were excited. They know that Arch Manning, for example, and a lot of quarterbacks coming out of this draft, guys, how does this affect the Steelers? Because on one hand, Mike Tomlin will start to like the guy, and then once he likes the guy, throw everything else out the window. Because this is, Mike Tomlin, when he likes a person, he sticks with them, and he's very loyal with them. So let's say he likes Will Howard. Will Howard doesn't exactly get a lot of reps, but he likes him. And then we go through next year's draft, and we don't go after anybody at the position because Mike Tomlin likes Will Howard. We've heard this before with players in situations. And we blow through next draft without getting maybe something that we should have in the draft as far as a quarterback. But is there a potential that Will Howard could actually be that guy for the Steelers one day that we know that we need, we know that we want for this team to ultimately get us further than we have been and get to where we want to go? Is there a chance that Will Howard could possibly be that guy? Or, Mike, do you think that this is just going to run its course, run its process as the way people are saying that it's going to? We'll eventually find the guy that we're looking for. Or is there a chance? Is there a chance, Finch, Mike, Will Howard can be that guy?
I think he would have to show a whole hell of a lot in camp, show a whole hell of a lot in the preseason to where he beats out Mason Rudolph for the starting spot, or if we get Aaron Rodgers for the number 2 spot. He would have to come in and just show that he is at a complete different level than what he was at the end of last year or winning that championship. His skill set is going to have to show that he's checking off all the boxes you want to see out of a starting quarterback. Then they might have to reevaluate their plan. Excuse me, but I think the way they approach this draft and the way they're approaching the future is next year was the year they're looking for a quarterback. Because right now on paper, there's 4 or 5 guys that are legit first round.
That's what I'm saying.
Talent guys. And I don't see Omar Khan and Andy Weidl breaking plans. So far, they've gone into every draft wanting to address like the last 3, offensive line and defensive line. They've done that and sprinkle in skill players in depth. They wanted to do that. And I think they wanted to get their franchise guy in this draft, but they realized there aren't any. So guess what? We can get someone who can be a serviceable number 2, be a serviceable starter, but next year is the prize. And they're loading up on draft picks. They have 11 draft picks next year. That's the year they get there. Even if they fall in love with Will Howard, but he has to come out and show that he can be more than like someone like a Brock Purdy, who can put up great numbers with a lot of guys around him. He's going to have to go out there and show that he can be a franchise quarterback no matter what. But I just don't think he's going to get the opportunity.
And that's where I'm kind of worried, because he's going to be stuck in that limbo, because he's not going to quite get the chance. It's either going to be Mason or, if you believe one of these other veterans are going to come in. And if he doesn't get the chance, he's going to be in a weird position. The Steelers are going to be in a weird position, and it's going to be weird at the draft, because again, now you're looking for your guy, and then people are going to say, well, what about this guy? Because we're going to have a whole year to fall in love with him here in Pittsburgh, and we're going to like him, and he's going to do nice things and good things in our cities, in our towns, and on our TV. And next year, we're all going to be saying, well, why don't this guy get a chance? Because you've seen how people were with Mason for year after year. Let's give him a chance. Let's give him a chance. Give him a chance. And then when people start to like you, then you have that whole dynamic that you're facing. So, Finch, what do you think? Does this Will Howard, does he turn out to be is it a possibility that he's the guy of the future for Pittsburgh? And if not, how does this play out with him over the next year?
There's been a meme going around for 20 plus years when it comes to late draft picks, and it's always, well, Tom Brady was, number 199. So there is a chance, right? I honestly think we picked Will Howard in the 6th round. When you get that late into the draft as a team, you start looking for value picks and guys who are just whoever the best athletes are at that point, or have like that one thing, that one feather in their cap that you could say, this will make a value pick. We're picking him late. We don't have to pay him as much. And Will Howard's that guy, I think. I think when we got that late, they started, I'm just reading up some of his stuff here. I mean, he had a solid season last year. He started every single game for Ohio State. He was the national championship offensive MVP. I mean, it's just a little feather in the hat, but those are good things, especially that started every game. He's not injury prone. That's a great thing. He's obviously a solid athlete and everything, and he's a decent quarterback. He just won the title. I think it's a good pick. It's a good value pick for getting him so late. And I would rather have like a Will Howard in my quarterback room than a Shedeur Sanders right now, just judging by everything you've read and heard. However, I think that Aaron Rodgers in the fold is also going to be a big part of this. I'm pretty convinced now he's coming here. So I'm sure that was in the back of our guys over at Kahn and Tomlin's minds when they made these picks. But hey, man, I like Will Howard. I think it is a nice value pick. And, he might shock some people.
Percentages certainly do play a big chance. We could always refer to Tom Brady or even Brock Purdy. But again, Finch,
Hines Ward was a late round draft pick.
There was a guy that got pulled in from the crowd at a hockey game to be a goalie one time because both goalies got injured. So I guess there's a chance for anything.
Exactly.
But I wouldn't expect to be playing goalie if I go to the Penguins game next season. So again,
the Pirates had a guy try to play right field last night from the stands.
Exactly.
Christ, you too.
Yes, that did happen.
But real quick, back to Will Howard, like in the expectations, they are so high for a 6th round pick from a lot of people in this fan base of like, you got to get him in right away. He's the future. He's a 6th round pick. There's a reason you fall to the 6th round pick. Teams don't think you're going to be a starter right away, or if you are, it's going to take time. Will Howard should sit for at least 2 years before he even attempts to be a starting quarterback, I think.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be a named starter in the NFL anytime soon. He's going to be that value backup guy.
That's what makes the things. That was kind of the point, guys. This is where it gets complicated, because what does he become? And you got this guy starting his career. He played the first 3-4 seasons here in Pittsburgh, and you don't touch the field. I'm sure. It's just, again, guys, it's going to be interesting because we did take Will Howard because he was a national champion. It wasn't just a schlum that we did take out of the the MAC or wherever, guys. But listen to this. This is the quarterback class of 2025. This is all of them. Of course, the quarterback's going to be a big conversation over this next year, guys. The next draft coming here in Pittsburgh, guys. Cam Ward, of course, the number 1 pick taken overall to the Tennessee Titans. Jackson Dart. He, of course, goes to the Giants. Tyler Shuck, however you pronounce this son of gun's name, is a Saint. Jalen Milroe is a Seattle Seahawk.
Great pick. I like Jalen
2 quarterbacks, Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders, or Cleveland Browns. They took the Mark Malone drafting advice. Good morning to you as well, Mark, on the board. Kyle McCord goes to Philadelphia out of Syracuse. Will Howard to the Steelers. Riley Leonard to the Colts. Graham Mertz to the Houston Texans. Tommy Mellott and Cam Miller, 2 quarterbacks to the Raiders. Curtis Rourke to San Francisco, and Quinn Ewers to the Dolphins. Those are your quarterbacks selected in the class of 2025. I think we're going to have more star power next year for sure. I'm already hearing big names that are being talked about. If they're being talked about now, there's a good chance they'll be being talked about a lot next April. Guys, but it is May. Here we are. We're well on our way to the 2026 draft here in Pittsburgh. Let me get caught up on the board for a few moments here, fellas.
Yeah.
Let me go right here right here. Tortilla Jackson said he Googled Ben's sister. He said she looks just like Ben.
Ooh, imagine looking down and seeing Ben's face looking back up at you.
Oh,
no thanks. Not for me. Yeah. Antonio, you called yourself out on some weirdness with that one, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Let's see. No more QBs. Mark Malone says, I think they take the Malone philosophy and take another QB next year. I think they will.
Yep, I agree.
I'm not sure what's going to happen with Rodgers or Cousins or any of the other guys they're talking about right now, but I do think that we are certainly going to be heavily approaching 2026 draft with the quarterback in mind. Mark Malone says the guy will work. We know that. Big John Stud, middle name Mud, said Howard could be the guy, but more than likely he will be the backup. Jennifer, what's up?
What up, Jen?
Good morning to you on the board. Nick Storm, welcome to the show. Good morning to you, sir. Nick says, I like Howard's heart. I like the confidence. We'll see. Jen's ready for some football. Tortilla Jackson. Tortilla says, when's the last time Tomlin started a rookie? Najee? I highly doubt Howard starts, even if this is the best QB on the roster, unless injuries hit us. Mark Malone goes on to say Howard will be well prepared. He's already bugging the staff to get him info. John says, I need a 12-month self-induced coma.
Right? All right, right there with you.
Tortilla says, I'd rather die in right field at PNC Park than to see Big Ben on my lap. Yeah, man.
7 minutes in heaven.
Oh, 7 minutes in heaven with 7.
But I got something interesting and fun to do today, guys, because, of course, last week, earlier this week, we picked up Robert Woods, the receiver. So what I did is I went and I got his numbers, and we're going to compare him to Van Jefferson, guys, because Van Jefferson, of course, was the last receiver that we picked from that Rams Super Bowl team. So we'll just look at a difference between the numbers at this point in their career. Van Jefferson, of course, up until last season in the NFL, Van Jefferson has 137 catches, 1,876 yards, 12 touchdowns overall, and an average of 13.7 yards per catch. He's been in the league since 2020. He was on the Super Bowl team very early in his career. Guys, and the gentleman that we did pick up the other day, Robert Woods, he has 38 touchdowns in his career. Now, he's played longer. He's played about 10 years. But he has 38 touchdowns in his career compared to the 12 by Van Jefferson. 683 catches in his career compared to Van Jefferson's 137. And again, mind you, Van Jefferson didn't play as long as Woods has. 8,233 yards in his career. Robert Woods. Van Jefferson, 1,876. And the only thing that Van Jefferson has the advantage is the average yards per catch. His is 13.7, and Woods is 12.1. And I'm looking at Robert Woods' numbers here. He had 2 seasons well over 1,000 yards. 2018 and 2019, he had 1,219 yards and 1,134 yards. He had a season in the 900s, 936. Some in the 7s, some in the 6s, some in the 5s. But nonetheless, guys, I think that we're and I read this morning in an article that he's number 3. They're considering him number 3, which I would assume that Calvin Austin was going to be.
Yeah.
But speculation at this point, it's going to be Robert Woods. So I think this was a nice pickup for what it is. For having 2 of the top receivers in the league, I think we're going to find out with DK and GP. I think this is a nice little pickup, Mike, considering Calvin Austin has been picking it up, considering Roman Wilson's going to want to prove himself at some point, right?
Yeah.
Do you like this Robert Woods? And of course, it could have been better. You could have always got
Right.
somebody better. But Mike, you like this? You like this pickup?
I like it because one, I don't think he's going to be the number 3 receiver. I that's got to be because his production the last 3 years has been god awful. But what he provides,
5 and
That-
600 yards. Isn't that just about what Calvin Austin gets though?
he had 200 yards last year and 400 yards the year before.
Who did Calvin?
Robert Woods. So I'm
Oh,
having.
I'm looking. Yes, you're right. 203,
Yeah,
26, 527. Go ahead. Sorry.
But no, I'm looking at Woods to be that veteran presence in that group. You have 2 hotheads in DK Metcalf and George Pickens. You need a calm veteran voice, and who better than someone who's won a Super Bowl, someone who is a steady veteran
Finch,
that's
look
respected.
what
throughout the
Calvin
league.
Austin got over the past 2 years, if you can, Finch.
But I think he's going to be a good pick, and he can help those guys. He can help a Calvin Austin. He can help a Roman Wilson. Sometimes the coaches are there, but guys like to hear what their veteran leaders have to say too. That's just another voice in their ear to help them get better. I think that's what he's going to be used for, and he still can be counted on too in those crucial situations, those 3rd and shorts, if you need someone to go across the middle. And he's a willing blocker. He's not afraid to get his nose in there, but even though he's getting up in age, he's still a willing blocker and, instill some of that values onto Roman Wilson, who was known as a blocker in college too. I like this. It's a nice pick. Every team needs a guy like this in a receiver room, that veteran presence who knows what needs done.
In the last 2 seasons, Woods got 60 total catches, 629 yards. What's Calvin Austin at, Finch?
For his career right now, 2 seasons, 53 receptions on 726 yards, averaging 13.7. He had a 72 long. He has 5 total touchdowns.
Okay, so I mean, it all evens out because there's some things Calvin Austin has more touchdowns over the past 2 seasons. Excuse me. The catches are in favor of Woods. So again, they'll competing again. Roman Wilson, I'm sure, will be sitting in that 5 spot.
Competition is good, guys. Competition is good. You want these guys to push each other and get better. Calvin is, we like him in Pittsburgh. You don't hear much bad about him. He's definitely improving. I mean, his first year was kind of bleh, and last year he showed up a little bit.
Remember, he missed the whole entire first season with that injury. Finch.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying, he's on his way up, and as long as he can keep himself, from getting hurt, it's good to have healthy competition, and that's what we need.
Absolutely. No, couldn't.
And as you guys were saying, and as Jen brings up as well, Woods being a blocking kind of guy is also obviously something that we can always use, especially considering we've just picked up a running back in the draft who we're hoping who can really pan out. It'll be nice to have an extra set of tools on the bench right there with Robert Woods.
An interesting name I'm seeing on the board right off the top, Nick Storm. He says Broderick is going to be playing back in his original offensive tackle position. I think if he doesn't show any change, he's out the door.
Yep.
Guys, what do you think about Broderick Jones? I tend to agree.
Yeah.
I'm very concerned about this guy's play from everything that I've seen over the past couple seasons. Finch, go ahead and take it first, brother. What do you
just I just remember being on this show during the season mentioning Broderick Jones making bad penalties and poor decisions a lot. And that is the kind of thing that will sit you on the bench.
Yeah. And God, he has all the potential in the world. You can see it. Go
strong guy. He's very strong.
Yeah,
he's got it.
He's got it. Can he put it all together? That's the thing. Hopefully, him going to left tackle, he can. I think it's a bad move putting him at left tackle. That's where I want my best pass blocking tackle. I know the league, you have to be able to pass block.
Not
on
a guy
both sides,
that holds all the time.
But when your worst pass blocker is going to be on your blind side, that kind of scares me. But maybe like he can handle the footwork better on there. Blah blah blah. Whatever. If he doesn't pan out, he's gone. They're not going to pick up that 5th-year option for him. So this is a make or break year in year 3 for Broderick Jones. If it doesn't work out, sayonara, see you later. It kind of sucks because he was that first building block of rebuilding this offensive line that Omar Khan and Weedle went out and got. Like, this guy looked like coming out of college. Yeah, he's a diamond in the rough type guy, but my God, if he would have been panning out, that was your left tackle for the next 10 years. And he's trending the wrong way. But If he can turn it around, it's going to be sky the limit for the kid. But I just don't know if he has the want to. But we'll find out.
Mike, and it's scarier. I think the situation is even scarier because Fatano is, come on, the guy just missed his whole entire first rookie season, and this is the guy opposite side of Broderick Jones. And again, this was the project to build this interior line. And one guy don't know his elbow from his ass, and the other guy, he hasn't played a single down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So in theory, we're expecting Fatanu to really carry the load in a rookie season, basically, because he hasn't played because of injury. And is the early injuries, is that a sign of things to come for this guy? So I think that the questions on the offensive line that have been answered lie at the center position and nothing else.
Yeah.
I don't know if the rookie guard that played his ass off last year could have a sophomore season that we would like. I mean, come on, that's a big task to ask for, and then again, the two tackles. There's some concern for both guys.
Yeah.
One being the injuries, and the other guy, I mean, come on, whatever the hell is going on through Broderick Jones's brain. Some of the times you see him out there. So again, how far are we advanced in that, starting with the nucleus, the line, the interior line, to building this team to where we want it to be? And it's a good idea. Don't get me wrong. Philadelphia's certainly gained from that approach. But how far are we? I mean, again, I think the only position set in stone at this point is the center position.
Exactly. Yeah. And like Mark Malone said, those dill holes better come to play this year. And back to the point that you said, Ryan, this is what Philly did. And that was like their new philosophy when they went over to Omar Khan was, all right, we got to rebuild. Where's the best place to start? O-line. So they had two drafts where, they hit their tackles in their interior. You think in these two draft classes, all right, we got, 3/4 of our offensive line set from these drafts right here, and then injuries happen, and then bad play happens. And then they come back this year, we're going to address the D-line, and they did it heavy. So I like their philosophy. They're sticking to it. And if these moves pan out, it's going to pay dividends. But if they don't, man, if Broderick Jones can't figure it out, and if Fatanu, it turns out to be a medical woe type thing, it's going to be a long, long time before this O-line is sitting pretty. But, I don't want to be negative Nancy here, but if everything doesn't have to go right for them to develop the way we want, but if things start to go right, this line should be really fucking good. I'm holding out hope. I know it might be a false hope, but I'm holding out hope that this O-line takes a huge step this year.
We all hope to see that. No two ways about it. Over enthusiastic in turn, Caleb. Good morning, my friend. He says my Jim Palmer poster thinks the Steelers should add Steve Largent to help the deep attack. Man, I used to love him. That he was the Seattle Seahawk when I was growing up. You didn't know anybody else on that team.
He was the only guy.
He was the Seattle Seahawk. Mark Malone. I don't think the guy can beat out Calvin Austin or Roman at this point. Of course, talking about Robert Woods. Jen says Woods is not afraid to block, as you guys mentioned, and push guys around. I think Woods takes Scotty Miller's role. But we still have one spot. I think that last spot's either going to be Scotty Miller or Scarron. But again, who knows? I mean, a lot of people could be cutting, guys signed. I mean, there's still people being signed and then invited to camp at this point. Take on a Jericho Crotchery. Cotchery, of course. That's basically what the Robert Woods edition is going to be, is Jericho Cotchery. I do believe that. Let's see. It's all about their O-line. John says Tortilla Titans will give Jones $80 million.
I can see it happening.
Mark Malone says those dill holes better come to play this year. Caleb says dill holes sounds like donut holes for pickles.
Dill hole.
Let's see. It was trademarked in the 90s. Dill hole was, and by Beavis and Butthead, Judge maybe. Mm-hmm. Mike, can you suit up for the O-line? Hey, what's up, Ginzer Joe? Good morning. Good afternoon, I guess it is now. He says, come on, man. Anyone got to be better than the backup behind Jones.
I don't know, man. With two bad knees, two bad ankles, two bad
hips, remind me,
bad back.
We could call you Mike Wimper. Remember Guy Wimper?
Guy Wimper.
You could be Mike Wimper. Jen says, I heard people talking about bringing back Zach Banner because he's playing in
Oh
the
my
NFL.
God, no.
And then Nick Storm says, who do you guys rather have, Rodgers or Cousins? Let me go first. Roger Murray, good morning on the board. Right off the bat, he says Rodgers. I would say Rodgers too. Cousins is a proven loser. He never wins anywhere he goes. Yet he always has top quarterback numbers. I don't like that. I don't like that. Dan Marino had that. Phillip Rivers has that. I don't know what that is, but how you can have top quarterback numbers every year and your team never is any good, I just don't like it. They're both old. Aaron Rodgers would be my guy just because, again, it seems like people want it. It seems like the players in the locker room would have no problem with it. People would look forward to playing with a 3-4 time MVP. And maybe, just maybe, he can sling the ball around and make it happen with these receivers that we got. Me personally, guys, I take Aaron Rodgers between the two of them. Mike, who do you like in that?
Aaron Rodgers. Give me Aaron Rodgers. He got better as the year went on. You can see that Achilles was getting better week after week, especially at the end of the year. He played some of his best football within the past couple of years. Kirk Cousins was the opposite. He got worse, and as the season went on, he didn't have far to fall because he looked terrible in week one against us. Kirk Cousins is a big-time choke artist. He puts up great numbers, somehow has gotten guaranteed contracts everywhere he goes. But that's all he's been good at, is stealing money from NFL franchises, thinking he will be the guy that leads you to the promised land. And he's not it. Give me Aaron Rodgers.
I also would pick Aaron Rodgers. However, on the field, Rodgers is my guy, but off the field, I kind of like Cousins. The media circus, that surrounds Rodgers. We don't need that in Pittsburgh, man. We just don't. It's bad enough that we have a head coach who just loves to talk to the media all the time and says all these great quips. And it's like, we don't need another guy who just wants to spend all his day bullshitting about himself to the media or making it about himself. That's the issue you have with Rodgers. But on the field, I mean, there's no contest. It's Aaron.
Mark Malone agrees. He says, yeah, Rodgers by a country mile. Nick does agree with that as well. And, that's a good point that neither Mike or myself did mention was the off field. And that's obviously going to be a big part of it. The circus. So, Finch, I'm glad you did touch that. Tortilla says, would you trade Jones for a third-round pick? I wouldn't this year, but he could play good enough to get a decent contract, and we get a comp pick. Mike?
I'm not trading him yet. No, not at all. I'm going to ride him out this year and see what happens. Just because the depth behind him, you have no one there, and there's no one available in free agency that can come in and start right away. I'd keep him, and then at the end of the year, see what happens. See, if he plays well enough to warrant that 5th-year option, go ahead and exercise it, or go ahead and negotiate a new contract for him. If he turns it around, if he doesn't, you decline that 5th-year option. Then you start calling people, hey, Broderick's available. Just let them know, and then go from there and look for a tackle in the draft, because you're going to have a lot of draft picks next year. You can probably find one in the 2nd round that can start that might be better than Broderick Jones.
All right, there you have it, guys. Caleb says, will Tua join the crew of great regular season accolades with 0 postseason success?
Yes.
If he stays in Miami,
yeah, absolutely. Miami is
notorious for that.
You're not gonna win games in January if you play for Miami.
That team is soft.
No,
I mean, look at
somewhere else, man.
Look at every Miami team, all the way back to the 70s when they were good. It's been the same story every year. This team cannot play good in December, good enough to get into the playoffs, and if they do, it's very short-lived. That's been the case of the Miami Dolphins in December, January.
Putting them in the AFC East was just so dumb. I never understood how they're in the East and the Colts are in the South. They should have. I understand that there's like rivalries whenever they did realignment and stuff, but at the same time, it's like Miami shouldn't have to go play in Buffalo and New England every year in December. That sounds like a petty Miami fan, something they would say, but I mean, it does make sense. It's dumb.
Finch, let me ask you this question. The number is 3.5. The number is 3.5. Over or under Deontay Johnson? How many teams does he play for in the AFC North when it's all said and done? Does he play for more or less than 3.5 teams? Of course, joining the Browns, this is his third AFC North team. Does he play for the Bengals before he hangs it up? Deontay Johnson.
No, I don't think so. I think the Browns are going to ruin him.
They're ruining him.
They're gonna
Is
completely
he
kill
have
his.
negative touchdowns in a season?
He's going to be so disenfranchised with the idea of playing pro football after being with the Browns that he's just going to grow a beard and go live in a shack in Montana
I get
and
that.
send
That makes so
mail
much
to
sense.
send
That
bombs to people in Cleveland. So that's the kind of thing that's going to go on there.
That makes so much sense.
Mhm.
Yadra Joe said the organization doesn't want to be wrong in trading up to get Jones, so they'll possibly wait it out as long as possible.
That organization doesn't want to be wrong stuff is dumb. It's dumb. That thought, I've seen that everywhere for years.
I don't
People
know.
say,
Is it
oh,
dumb?
the organization, a single coach or a single person not want to being wrong, sure. But to say a whole organization doesn't want to admit that they screwed up by one pick is it's a ludicrous statement, I think.
Yeah, they traded Kenny Pickett. They're showing that they're not afraid to move on from people who aren't performing.
Yeah, but they were embarrassed by that. I mean, you were looking bad by not trading him, I think.
Yeah, but if they didn't want to look bad, they would have kept him.
No,
Yeah, right.
because
For making a mistake, if they
well, listen, I understand, and I can understand how this conversation could weave in and out for 20 minutes. So just do what you want at home, take the information, and make your own mind up, guys. We do have to continue to move forward, though. Let's see. So also, Yinzer Joe says, and how can we laugh at Miami when our team does basically the same thing? Well, because we can play it, and we can play in winter. We've proved it for decades. They've never been able to play in December. They can never go and beat the Jets in December when they need one win. They can never go to
Never seem to beat the Raiders for some reason
or
need to beat them.
Buffalo. Will
Yeah,
you ever
right.
see
Granted,
Miami go
Buffalo's
to
very
Buffalo in December and win that need to win game? They just proved it. I think what was it last season? They couldn't. But yes, you're right. We have a lot of we shouldn't be throwing stones. I agree on that. But we can still laugh at the Dolphins because they got them colors, right?
They suck.
Exactly. It's the Dolphins. When was their last Super Bowl?
1973.
I think 80.
Well, they went in 84, I think. Yeah, right. They went, but they lost. Yeah. But win 73.
Tortilla, the dynamic duo of Pickett and Johnson back together. Exactly. The Cleveland Browns thought this was a great idea.
Right?
They thought they loved what they've seen so much when they played the Steelers and Kenny Pickett and Deontay. They said, we have to have some of that. Martin Malone says, yeah, I could see that. Nick Storm says, I do think Sawyer is going to be a monster when he starts. More than likely. Tortilla says, Kenny scrambles out of a clean pocket. He throws it. Johnson drops. Yeah, I mean, I cannot wait to watch Browns games. This is going to be way worse than I even expected, which is great.
Drop on Tay Johnson.
Caleb says, Colts got moved to the South to make the Colts and Peyton Manning contend. That's right. They used to be the AFC East. They used to be in that Buffalo, New England, Jets, and Dolphins division. Yinzer Joe says it's not a one man's pick, Finchy. It's a collection of people there that picked the guy. I think he's talking about the
Yeah, when I said the
philosophy.
organizational thing, right? And he said the organization is afraid to be wrong. That's a ludicrous statement. That's just
Well, I don't think anybody wants to be wrong, right?
No, nobody wants to be wrong, but these organizations understand that sometimes players don't work out, and it's not always the fault of the guy picking the player. It's usually the fault of the player. The player isn't putting in the work. He's not spending the time that he should be doing or something of that sort. Those are uncontrollable things when it comes to an organization. And I'm not saying Kenny Pickett was like that. We like Kenny, but that just proves the point right there. The organization has no qualms getting rid of of a high pick when they got rid of Pickett. So that's where I was coming from. I always thought that was kind of a ludicrous statement when they say the organization doesn't want to be wrong, yada, yada. Nobody wants to be wrong, but sometimes you have to admit and you have to make the pick and do the thing. The only time it's different is with guys like Jerry Jones or Al Davis or whatever. It's a little different because they're so involved with their teams. But for the most part, I just didn't think that was I didn't agree with that statement. That's what I want to say. I didn't agree with it.
All right, fair enough. Guys, of course, we do want to stay in the AFC North here a little bit. We're going to talk about this Cleveland Browns team, this Shedeur Sanders situation, everything that's going on, guys. Shedeur Sanders, let me find this. Okay, so apparently Deion Sanders wants to attend the first Cleveland Brown meeting. Deion Sanders wants to attend the first Cleveland Browns team meeting, where they meet with the players and the coaches and everybody. Deion Sanders wants to be there, which is weird. What would happen if your dad would want to come hang out at your work one day? You know what I mean? He has no place being at a Cleveland Browns team meeting, the first one, Deion Sanders. And then this is also, guys, this is an article here. Sanders' first official meeting with the Cleveland Browns scheduled this week to discuss. He wants to be involved with this to discuss Shador's future role with the team. Deion. He goes on to say, quote, I have a few theories about why this happened, but I'm not going to give y'all a headline. I'll address the current situation and correct it as needed. I promise it will be handled accordingly. Shador don't take no backseat to any quarterback. Why don't you let Shador say that? Why has dad got to step in and say, my son don't take the backseat to any your son's an adult. Your son's a millionaire. That is ongoing with Shador to his first meeting in Cleveland. Mike, at what point does this become ridiculously annoying? And again, why most teams didn't want Shador Sanders. I mean, we were accused of this. It was said to be that. At the end of the day, this is what you're going to get. This is what 31 other teams wanted to avoid. Mike, is Deion Sanders going to fall off at some point and let the guy be a man?
I don't know. And I'm trying to look up these quotes and stuff too to read more into it too, because that just sounds strange that he would say this. And it's nuts. If this is what he really wants to do, he's an idiot. You're sacrificing you're sabotaging your son's career is what you are doing. If this is what you truly want to do, you're an idiot for doing this. You've hidden your kid from reality, and now he has to go out there and face it. You want to hold his hand through it. If this shit is accurate and these reports are true, what a dumbass! You set your son up for failure,
which he was in the beginning. Mike, he retired his kid's number at Colorado.
Yeah.
This is just an extension of that.
13-14 overall record at Colorado.
That's what I'm saying.
And they retired his number.
He's
it's all the
messing,
name. It's all
he's
about
been
the
messing
name.
his son's career up for a long time, not just right now. This has been the behavior of Deion. Let the guy go out and do his thing. He's slowing him down.
Deion should be helping Shador with physical things. He should be working out with him. He should be helping him out. Catching balls for his son. That's what Deion should be doing. He should be doing the dad playing catch with your son thing. He should not be doing the dad is my agent and he has to be everywhere type thing. This is why I preached forever that we should not pick up Sanders, and I'm so glad the Steelers didn't, because this
Deion
is the exact
Sanders
reason.
Calls the Tampa Bay Buccaneers after they signed Shiloh. Why don't he stay the hell out of the way and let these boys be men?
My favorite thing is that right after the draft,
phone calls.
Right after the draft, Shiloh got himself an agent. He smartened up. He understood.
Absolutely.
Whereas his older brother did not, Shador. So it's
and that's where they fucked up big time too, because agents will tell you the things you don't want to hear.
Right.
They will tell you, listen, you're not going in the first round. This is what teams are saying about you. You're evaluated right now as a third round pick. If you want to improve, this is what the teams want to see from you. They have whole ass advisory boards that you submit to, and they will tell you, hey, if you come out, this is what the league is saying right now. You're like an undrafted player. You're a fifth rounder. Hey, you're a top 10 guy. It might be smart to think that one out and go. They have whole panels that tell you what to do. Then their agents work with the teams. They tell you what you need to do. And they did none of that. Deion thought, my kid is going right away. He's going top 10. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. And that's what he told his kid. And so that's what everyone believed. Deion lived it, created his own reality and lived in it. And anything that is counter to that reality, he dismisses. And you're just setting your kid up for failure.
I couldn't agree more. Let's catch up on the board here, guys. Nick Storm says, I could also see the Browns trading Kenny to the Saints. I'm going to get to Kenny in just a second, Mike. So do be prepared for that conversation about the situation going on with the Browns and Kenny, his contract. We'll get into that in just a moment. Tortilla Jackson says, AKA Chase Claypool.
With Bro Eric Jones, I think that was the conversation.
Roger says, I agree with you, Finch, but again, they didn't get rid of Pickett. He asked out after they brought in Russell.
Doesn't matter.
Shador needs his hand held. That's I mean, I don't know whether he does or he doesn't. Dion just has to get him off the teat, man. At some point.
That guy he thinks so highly of himself, and
You
has
just- I
proven
mean, he's
nothing,
not-
and that's the thing, you know.
It's not daddy coming in to give the manager at McDonald's his peace of mind. This is the NFL. This dude's got to either be able to do it or he's not.
And at the end of the day, it's not like Sanders is going to be broke and not able to eat if he doesn't
Right.
get a job in the NFL.
Yeah, he's made
He
more
living off
money
of
in
Shiloh.
college. He made more
Yeah.
money in college than he probably will off his rookie deal.
And if he wouldn't have retired his number, maybe he could have went back.
What if Cleveland just doesn't sign him?
Oh, wouldn't that be?
What if
something?
he
Wouldn't
like
that be
asks
something?
for a ridiculous amount? He's like, "Yeah, I should get 10 million a year," and Cleveland's like, "No, you're getting
Yeah.
$1 million a year
And
best." You know what I mean?
Well,
What
it's
if?
because it's all slotted, but I can see him trying to make it all like either all guaranteed or I can see Dion
Just
trying to
something
do
silly.
something. Yeah,
Just something silly. He's gonna ask for whatever the maximum is, and they're just gonna laugh at him.
Enzo Joseph, Kenny wanted traded because he knew he wasn't the starter. He knew he couldn't beat out the other two quarterbacks. Steelers knew they'd reached on Kenny, and I'm sure they were okay with him being traded. Mark Malone talking about Shador Sanders. His son is a double nozzle bust. Douche nozzle. He goes on to change it. Nick Storm says, doesn't he have a college team to coach? Right? Should he be focusing on other things right now?
Right. He just signed an extension like a couple of weeks ago to go back to Colorado, and it's like maybe he should worry more about that. I
Right.
agree 100%.
And it's good being there for your kid and helping him along and showing him the ropes, but this is ridiculous. I mean, come on. Caleb says that Nick Storm, he has to get ready to coach the Browns. Yeah, right. Probably. he'll probably be coaching the Browns more than Stefanski. Tortilla, they tried to dictate where they went, didn't hire an agent, told teams not to draft him, then complaining the league is against them, can't make it up. They set themselves up for failure. Mark Malone says, Fook, I can't wait till the power comes back on here. Hate typing on the phone and tablet. Mike and Finch, I noted a lot of power went down around here. It
Yeah,
didn't
I lost
affect
my
us at
power
the
for a
studio,
day.
but yeah, Finch, you were down. And I got to be honest, people that I seen it was well over 24 hours yesterday when they were finally just starting to get their power back. So
My neighbor lost her roof, ripped right off her house, peeled back like a sardine can right across the street. It was
and even
wild.
Fiora's, the pizza place, the roof got torn off in Pittsburgh. A lot of people love Fiora's pizza. The whole roof just torn off.
Yep. Mother Nature's wild, dude.
Well, yeah.
Mhm.
Mother's Nature is like Aunt Fanny and Aunt Peaches.
When it's all said
Apparently.
and done, she will be the real winner.
That's right. Tortilla says media also holds Shador hand too, trying to gaslight us, saying he doesn't have a huge ego, comparing him to the Mannings when Eli is top 15 all the time and Peyton is top 5 all the time.
Can I comment on that one real quick?
Yeah, please.
So, I love YouTube. I watch a ton of YouTube, and I watch most of my sports content now is on YouTube. I don't watch a lot of ESPN and that. However, a lot of those guys end up on YouTube, and I've been seeing a lot of the media, the ESPNs and the Fox Sports and all that, just exactly what Tortilla's saying, just really kissing up the Sanders. Mel Kiper saying it's like the worst drop ever and this and that. But then you go on YouTube and you watch these YouTubers who make a living doing sports who don't have the corporate like overlords trying to push what they say, and they're saying the exact opposite. I linked a video yesterday in our chat from That's Good Sports. He talked all about the Sanders draft situation, and it's 100% true. The media has really pushed this kid, and I'm sure Dion somehow, somewhere is pushing that behind the scenes because he was a media darling, and he was on ESPN for all those years, and it's wild to see how far down our national sports media has come when it comes to not politicizing, excuse me, but like in a political way, picking sides over another.
Right.
And it's not politics in the capital P sense, but it's just it's using that name Sanders once again, and the love that everybody had for Dion in the media 20 years ago to promote this kid. And it's not making sense because the fucking kid can't play.
Right.
It's a LeVar Ball situation. It's another LeBron and his son Bronny. It's a very similar situation to that. And guess what? It's not working out for any of those guys either.
Yeah.
It's actually working out. Bronny's not doing bad in the G League. He's one of the better players in
In the G League. G
A
League.
second round pick. I've never
NBA.
seen a second round pick be this scrutinized because of his last.
I've
LeBron
never seen a
never
guy
had
that
it.
won 3 straight slam dunk championships not be allowed to play in the NBA.
Right.
'Cause he
What's up with that
sucks.
too? That
'Cause
guy's
he's-
amazing.
3
he-
straight
give him
slam
a
dunk
shot.
contests. You're better than a lot of people, believe me.
You can't.
Uh,
You can't shoot.
He's
you
a
can't
one-trick
defend.
pony, though.
He is a one-trick- Great
slam-
one-trick pony, baby.
If he
Slam
could just
dunking
lay
in the
under, just
NBA definitely
post
is
him up.
looked down upon. You definitely don't see guys that want to slam dunk in the NBA. I could agree with Mike there. Sarcasm noted, guys. Let's move on. Tortilla says that's like saying Will Howard is the next Brady because he was taken in the 6th round. Mark Malone says day 3 without power. Jeez, oh man,
Sorry, Mark. That's
what are they doing? And then it's coming back. I heard that we have like a day. This is like the calm before the storm. It's coming back here.
Yeah, tonight there's supposed to be some boomers.
Ay, ay, ay. Tortilla says also when Eli told the Chargers not to draft him, and they still did, Shador's clearly not as good. And wasn't comparable. Yes, there was situations people said do it, go that same route. Grilling like a mofo, Mark Malone said, like, I bet. He probably had to throw shit out and everything you may. Yindra Joe says, do you guys think it's an easy transition for a quarterback on the O-line learning a new cadence? I see most of them in college clap their hands. I don't see that in the NFL. Of course, I mean, it's going, any change because another thing, it's such a big jump from college to the pros. Pros is so much harder. And, you always think of these guys. When I was in high school, there was always that one guy that just was so much faster than everybody. And then, the process. They go to college, they play with a bunch of guys that are like they are. And then you get to the pros where the very best goes. Finch, you're a quarterback. Guys on the defensive line are faster chasing you down than safeties and cornerbacks were in college. It's a whole different ball game. So yeah, any changes and any kind of adapting is certainly going to be a difficult move. And that's what makes the quarterbacks good enough to be in the NFL.
And a lot of that
backup.
also, I'm sorry, a lot of that
Yeah,
also
no.
does come down to good coaching for these quarterbacks because the quarterback is the most mentally demanding position on the
Absolutely.
offensive side of the football field. And we've seen over the years players who might not be the most physically gifted guys still do well because they make great decisions, right?
Yes.
So I think that's going to be the situation for some of these QBs, especially like a Milroe or somebody like that. They need to boost up the mental part of their game and catch up to the NFL in that aspect. And that's how you beat those fast players. A lot of those defensive guys aren't the smartest guys. They just rely on their speed, their hands, their ability to cut, that sort of thing. And you, as a quarterback, need to understand that and learn that about every single player on every single team, every single week. That's what tape is for.
Tortilla says LeVar Ball and LeBron are perfect comparisons. Nick Storm says Bronny is going crazy in the G League.
Good for him, man. I wish him the best. I just don't know if he's got the NBA stuff, I hope he does. I wish him the best. I don't have anything against Bronny.
Let me jump into some more NFL news here, guys. Here it is. Falcons and their defensive coordinator, Jeff Ulbrich, who, of course, his son had taken the phone number and pranked Dion's son during the draft, saying that he got drafted when he really didn't. The Falcons and the actual guy himself faces hefty fines over prank call. Guys, talking about setting an example. You're not only going after the guy, you're going after the Falcons as well. That to me sounds like it's saying we don't want this to happen anymore. And if this does happen and it's the coach and it's a kid, it's whoever, we're going to come after you and we don't want to see it anymore, guys.
Yep.
Do you think this is a good idea to go after the Falcons as well as the coordinator?
I do because a lot of other players were called as well. And I slowly more and more videos of them are coming out. It was easy for like the Shador one to figure out where it came from because they posted themselves doing it.
Right. They posted the video.
Dumbasses.
Yeah, idiots.
This is what, like, our generation, we unless you're really rich, you didn't have a camcorder to videotape your stupid shit. So all of our stupid shit was never recorded. These cats record everything and think they can get away with it. It was stupid by them. But I do like what the NFL is doing because, like I said, it wasn't just Shador. I know, Abdul Carter, Cooper DeJean last year, at least 2 or 3 other players has come out, had it happen to them this year. And it can be funny, but these people are waiting for the call from their job to where, hey, you're now going to be a millionaire. You're now going to be able to take care of your family. don't fuck with these people. But I just read before, like there's a list the NFL emails out to everyone. They emailed it out to 4,000 people of everyone's phone number. So 4,000 people across 32 NFL organizations and agents had these phone numbers. The Falcons were just, unfortunate enough that their defensive coordinator left his laptop unlocked for his college kid to see it and leak it and videotape it. Wouldn't surprise me if more and more of this stuff comes out, more teams get caught. Look for the fines to be even higher if this continues to happen.
And it could lead to a bigger problem, right? We're dealing with sensitive personal information. What if somebody leaves a social security number up on a screen on a player profile or something,
Yeah.
or something of that sort, and somebody gets it? Then you
Yeah.
have a real legal issue.
Yeah.
These are the kind of things you need to nip in the bud. That's just
Yep.
that's all there is to
Yeah.
it. It's a sensitivity, information sensitivity issue, and it should properly be addressed. And the Falcons should be held responsible.
Dude, I get corporate training on this shit
Same.
two to three times a year
Mhm.
because, well, like you said, it's not just like you can get fined, the company can fine. There can be legal repercussions down the line that can cost us 10 times more, 100 times more of what that fine is. So, yeah, like organizations take this shit seriously for a reason.
It was a funny video and a funny situation. If it was literally anybody but Shador Sanders, I think that the conversation would be even more harsh towards the Falcons.
All right. No, good enough, guys.
Yeah.
See on the board. Finch must not be getting any. Yeah, Finch, are you getting some at the current moment? What's going on with you? All right.
Oh, you're just supposed to be getting some more because, like they said, man, you're talking sense.
All I'm saying is my wife loves me.
All right.
lot.
Since Finch is making sense, so we'll take your word, John. Yinja Joe, did you guys see Nick Chubb's workout video? It was insane. I had not, but I don't doubt you. I mean, the guy has always been a beast.
I would love to have
Maybe
him
I'll
here.
check that out. I think the Steelers need to bring him in, even if it is to be a mentor. I liked him from day one. When the idea of him coming here, I was cool with it. But I see the route they're going. I see what they're doing. They're bringing in Jalen. They're bringing in the new running back, Caleb Johnson, and they're going to run him right besides Warren the way they ran Warren right besides Najee. They have their third down back in Kenneth Gainwell from the Eagles. I think that this is the route they're going to go. However, I would have liked to at least kick the tires on Nick Chubb, but it looks like this is the direction they're going, and not anything different than they've done over the past 5 years for sure. I wouldn't think.
The thing I like most about Nick Chubb, and the reason I think he has a potential to do well with the Steelers, is he did so well in a dual running back setup.
Yeah, right.
And some guys just don't want to do that. The egos, that whole thing. I want the ball. He and the other name escapes me right now, but the two of those guys both had 1,000-yard seasons together.
Kareem Hunt.
Kareem Hunt, thank you. It would be nice to have a guy like that here, beside Warren, but it is what it is.
Tortilla, that boy ain't invited to company picnic anymore. I feel bad for the dad. Everyone's saying he needs to be better. Like, we don't know how bad kids can be. I need to bring back spankings. And then Yinja Joe follows up, says, don't worry, Trump is bringing back spankings. Tortilla follows that up by saying DC was lucky he wasn't fired. The defensive coordinator for the Falcons, of course, Albert.
Sensitive information, man.
Chubb to the Bears. Nick Storm is calling it, and that's very, very possible.
Timmy Harris would love it.
That's what I keep reading too. Is Chubb to the Bears? I keep seeing that everywhere online. So what would be Chubbs to the Chargers?
So this is, Mike, what I was asking you about. The Browns didn't know. They didn't know. The Browns didn't know.
Yeah.
That they had to make the fifth-year decision on Kenny Pickett. Yet another Browns situation that we talk about constantly.
Yeah.
If you remember a couple years back, when Jimmy Garoppolo was supposed to talk to the Browns, and they were going to hire Jimmy Garoppolo as their quarterback, and they couldn't get the paperwork across the table in time. Say, for example, it was due by 4. They came across with the paperwork like 3 after 4, and they lost out. These are just Cleveland Brown kind of things. Mike, tell us a little bit about this. The Browns didn't know they had to make a fifth-year decision on Kenny Pickett. How do you not know this?
Yeah, because the way the GM said it is something like along the lines of, "Oh, it has to be done by sometime in year 3," and the actual deadline was yesterday. Was Thursday. They had to have it in by then. So he might have been under the impression that the Eagles already did this. They already declined it or whatever, thinking he was free and clear.
But
And
as the
found out at the last moment that, oh no, we have to do it. And I'm glad he is the GM of the Browns. I'm glad that the Browns front office is who they have, because my God, is it filled with some of the best and the brightest in the NFL.
I just come on. I mean, do you expect anything different? This just
No.
another, like as with the Pirates, you just keep adding
Yeah.
and adding and adding things
Yeah.
that went wrong and there are wrong. That's all we're doing with the Cleveland
Yeah.
Browns. It isn't any different, guys. These
Brown's
are
gonna brown.
Brown's gonna Brown.
Brown's gonna brown. That's the catchphrase.
Nick Storm says, "I do wish him the best. He's an amazing back. Glad to
Nick
see him
Chubb's
healthy.
great.
Absolutely."
He's a
Absolutely.
beast.
The
Oh,
only
oh,
thing we
oh,
have against him is that he was a Brown.
That's
exactly.
I was
That's it.
just gonna say that if he wasn't in Cleveland, I would have probably just even
Right, if he was in
one of
like
my favorite
Kansas
running
City
backs.
or Raiders or Indy, we'd be like, bring him. We love him.
He's
Absolutely.
one of my favorite backs to watch. I just hope he goes somewhere else now that I can root for him.
Yeah,
He's
he's
just
phenomenal,
tainted.
and he's
tainted
he's
by-
one of the
by
greatest players
Cleveland.
in the NFL right now.
Yeah.
Gotta love him. No hate for Nick Chubb. Bring him to
Oh,
Pittsburgh.
one of the final things I do have from the NFL, guys, Randy Moss's son, Montego Moss, is invited to the Vikings camp, guys. Does this son make it? I can't remember what the last son number.
Thaddeus.
What was it?
Thaddeus.
Thaddeus. He played for LSU, was in a national
Mhm.
championship game. I don't know where he's at. I mean, if he's even in the league at this
He's
point.
not in the league anymore.
But his next son on the list, Montego Moss, is invited to Vikings camp. Does he need Randy? Does he need Daddy to come up and talk to the bosses like Shador got going on?
I think the bosses did Daddy a favor by inviting him to camp.
You really?
Yeah.
What can you tell me, Mike? Can you tell me anything about Montego Moss? I don't
I-
know.
I don't know a damn thing about Montego Moss other than is he named after Montego Bay? That's
What I mean, Finch. I think Finch
I'm
is looking it up.
pulling it up now. Yeah.
Now Mike is yelling at me because him and Finch are both racing to pull it up. While they're doing that, let me go ahead and grab the Yinzer Joe comment. Yinzer Joe says, since we're talking Browns, the stadium build, is that happening? Or no, I think that's happening. I think I heard that was approved, guys. The dome. Am I right or am I wrong? I could have
I
swore they
think it
approved
was
this.
approved. I do remember seeing something about that.
Cleveland's
maybe
getting a
month or two
dome,
ago.
guys. Freaking
That's,
dome.
Hey, Cleveland will finally see a Super Bowl. There'll be a host
Yeah.
city, which I think
this
a
is the
Super
base-
Bowl a Super Bowl in Cleveland would be kind of cool.
This is
It's
the best
nice
case
and-
scenario for the Browns. I mean,
It
come on.
actually is, yeah. Okay, I got some
Yeah,
Montego Bay Moss stuff here. He's 6'1", 220. He played in what school is this? Maine. Played for Maine. Last year he had 61 catches, 722 yards, 7 touchdowns. Like I said, I think this might be a favor to Dad.
Who's more likely to make it in the NFL, guys? Montego Moss, Dino Tomlin. Which one of these two gentlemen are more likely? Of course, Dino Tomlin, the coach's son, Mike Tomlin's son, got the invite from Tampa Bay. Moss, Minnesota. Which one of these two guys, Finch, is more likely to have a career in the NFL?
Right now, I'm going to go with Tomlin, only because I like the name and I like his dad better than Randy Moss. I have no other reason. No other reason, because honestly, neither of them will probably have a shot. But
Yeah.
you root for the kid. You always want to see the kids do well. So you know what? Good luck.
Nick Storm says, so who do we get for quarterback coach? That's a good question. I'm just going to go right up to the top real quick. And Ninja Joe says, John Gruden for QB coach. Mike, which I know that you are throwing up in your mouth at this time. Who do you guys, if anybody at this moment, suggest that the Steelers get for quarterback coach? Again, we're heading into some vital quarterback time is Pittsburgh, is the Steelers are with possibly Mason Rudolph, possibly one of these veterans, possibly the rookie who won a national championship. Next year's draft, looking at a quarterback, I think hiring a quarterback coach might be it should be high up on the list of things that you might really want to focus on. Mike, any names or anybody that you hear or anything that you would suggest at that particular coaching spot, Mike?
Tom Arth He's currently on the staff as a quarterback coach.
Okay.
It was Mike Sullivan who was let go. He was the quarterback
Right.
He was the one
previous to him, but
Right.
Tom Arth is the quarterback coach.
And he's going to continue to be the quarterback coach.
Yeah.
Mike, do we trust this guy? Do we trust this guy to come in and teach rookies how to take the next step and to develop in the NFL?
Sure.
Okay.
I like.
I mean, that's going to be
Yeah.
a question. You know that people are going to talk
Yeah.
about it.
Oh yeah.
All
Well,
right.
yeah. Like he worked with Justin Herbert. You know, Herbert's a pretty good quarterback. So
That's what they tell us.
that's your guy. Justin Herbert's your guy.
He used to be. He used to be my guy.
Oh, you moved on.
Well, yes. Let me explain.
Okay.
When I found out we had no chance of getting him, I don't like him anymore.
Fair. That's fair.
When he was a possibility, I really liked him. Mark Malone says, with a name like Montego, you've got to go with Moss. You know what? I like Moss. I like Randy Moss better than Mike Tomlin, to be honest, as well. I'm more of a Randy Moss fan than a Mike Tomlin fan, just in general. But that's neither here nor there. Yinzer Joe says Tomlin wasn't a very good player. Maybe his son will, or is he another coach? You know, some people just are. They're meant to be coaches. One last topic, Mike, when we do have to move forward. Abdul Carter wants to wear number 56 for the Giants and is asking if he could wear the retired Lawrence Timmons number. Why?
Lawrence Taylor.
Lawrence Taylor.
Who did I say?
Timmons.
Lawrence Taylor for the Giants. Guys, what's the deal with kids now? Why can't you just get a number, get in there and play? Why does everything got to be complicated? Shador Sanders. I mean, the whole way down the list, guys. Can't people just go to the league and say, all right, give me a number, let's play? Why he wants to retire? Listen, it's not even Carl Banks. It's not Pepper Johnson. It's Lawrence Taylor. You don't get Lawrence Taylor's freaking football number.
LT already told him, hey, you know, that number's retired. Go pick a number, make your own. And Abdul said, all right, man, he's like, hey, doesn't hurt to ask. And I forget, he chose a number. He said, hopefully, you know, it'll be up there with yours one day.
Do you remember years and years ago when Jerry Rice ended up getting sent to Seattle for the last year or two of his career, and Steve Largent wore number 80 and was retired? The number was retired. They're bringing that guy back up again in conversation. And Jerry asked them if he could wear number 80, and they said it was okay. That's Jerry Rice.
Yeah,
he can get away with it. Okay.
Right.
This guy is nothing yet. You know, I wish him the best, but at the same time, it's like, dude, if they give you 12 or 13 or 78 or 92 or 69, just fucking wear it, dude. Go out there and play football.
Yeah, I forget what number he ended up taking, and he was like, yeah, hopefully it'll be up there with you one day.
Mm-hmm.
Like some guys, like I know Warren Moon surprised Cam Ward and let Cam Ward wear number 1. Like Cam Ward didn't.
Oh, that was
ask, didn't
awesome.
even know.
That video
he
was
just showed
phenomenal,
up.
by the way. Yeah, that was really cool, man. Warren Moon, one of the greatest, most underrated.
It's not even the
QBs of all
same
time.
team name, though. Does anybody even care?
That's another thing. I read the
you're wearing
comments on
number
the
one
video, and
For the
everybody's like, I
Houston
don't remember him
Oilers
playing
in
for
the 80s,
Titans.
and then you wear number 1 for the Tennessee Titans in 2025. You hardly feel the correlation. You know what I mean?
Once a year, when they go to play in Houston, he's going to wear the Houston Oilers number 1. They do it every year, and it is such a fucking like ball-breaking move, but I kind of like it.
It's a fuck you to Houston.
Yeah, it really
I love
is.
it. I love
It really is. They drove him out of town.
Nick's saying leave the number retired. Yinzer Joe says, well, if nobody trusts a QB coach, they need to bring in a veteran QB for them to learn from. John says Sanders should be 0-0. Yeah, you ain't kidding. Yinzer Joe, that's a retired number. Leave it alone. That's like if Rodgers came in, he can't have 12.
Never
No
thought
way.
that.
That's a good, yeah. Good points by all. Guys, Mike, why don't you go ahead and tell everybody about the website? We'll get into some more stuff here right after you're done.
The2dumbyinzers.com. Check it out, everyone. We got the merch store, we got the blog, all at the2dumbyinzers.com.
Do not forget to boom, hit that like button and share, subscribe, all the good stuff.
And all that good stuff. John, do stick around. Big John Stud, stick around till the end. I got something fun for you here at the end. I know that you been busy for a while, joined us back, and I think we have something that's going to make you laugh to end the show out. So just stick around for another few minutes, guys. Let's hop to the question of the day. This trivia, guys, draft questions are over. As I mentioned the other day, it's time for more Steelers trivia. Mike, Finch, put on your thinking caps. Everybody on the board, everybody at home. Here we go. Question of the day. Here we go. Between Hines Ward and Antonio Brown, which one had more receiving touchdowns in their NFL career? Not just with the Steelers for AB. I'm talking about both gentlemen for the duration of their career. The question is, between Hines Ward and Antonio Brown, which player had more receiving touchdowns in their NFL career? Take a minute to think that over, guys. We're live 5 days a week right here, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, every day right here on YouTube. All right, guys. Between Hines Ward and Antonio Brown, which one had more receiving touchdowns in their career? Finch, I'm going to start with you today. Which one of these two Steeler great receivers finished with more receiving touchdowns in their career?
I feel like this is sort of a trick question. Like, do you think Hines played for a few years longer and had a very great career? But I think the answer is AB, and I think it's going to be really close. I think it's like AB by like a couple.
Okay. Mike, is that your final answer? Finch?
Mhm.
All right,
Yeah.
locking you in.
Brown.
All right. Mike, I'm going to come to you with the same question. Between Hines Ward and Antonio Brown, which one had more receiving touchdowns in their NFL career? Finch is saying AB. Tortilla Jackson on the board also saying AB. Mike, what do you think?
I'm going with AB. Final answer.
All right, locking you in. You sound confident on that. Nick says,
Because
I
he
want
looked it
to.
up.
I did not look
Well,
it up.
you know what? I study. I stare at Mike.
I heard. a
I know.
bunch of
I
this.
stare at Mike during questions every time, and he has certain mannerisms that I'm awfully suspicious of. He has a whole thing where he tries to juke you out with his eyes,
Right.
and then you see his hand moving over.
His
to the
phone is
right.
down underneath the desk.
Yeah, and you see his hand. You see him look over, and then his hand is moving to the right. And I'm thinking, why would his hand be?
I figured it
moving?
out. You know what Mike's doing?
What?
He's pressing the little microphone button on
I thought
Google on
that.
his phone. And
it's here.
when you ask the question,
Yeah.
This hand is on my mouse. This one's on my mouth. My phone.
Yeah, for
is
now.
And
right
this
here.
is and of course, my this hand is on $1 million right now, and this one's on a hot chick, Mike. You know, because you could see and confirm that right in front of your eyes.
That's funny because they're both on your junk at the same
That's
time.
right, baby. But guys, so everybody got AB. It looks like I want to say Ward, but I'm going to AB. That's Nick Storm.
That's how I
Here's
feel
the
too,
answer
Nick.
on the
I want to
board.
say Ward, but I think it is AB.
All right, guys, let's
That's
check
how I
out.
feel too.
Let's check it out. Between Hines Ward and Antonio Brown, which one of these two men had more receiving touchdowns in their NFL career? Everybody across the board, it's unanimous. Does somebody want to pick Hines Ward just so it's not unanimous, guys? You guys are right. It was only a couple touchdowns that made the difference. However, Hines Ward had two more than Antonio Brown.
Very good.
85.
You know what else? You know what else
85
Hines has two more of?
Super Bowls.
You're goddamn right.
Was Antonio Brown? He was
No, he
yeah,
got a
Antonio
ring. He
Brown
got a
won.
ring with Tampa. He got a
Yeah,
ring with Tampa.
he got a ring.
He flew high on Tom Brady's bar.
But that's really. But what's the answer, guys? 85 touchdowns for the career of Hines Ward, 83 for the career of Antonio Brown. So very interesting, guys. Good job, though. I mean, nonetheless, you both. I mean, you had it. It was right there. Just which way did it go by a couple of touchdowns? Congratulations, good job on that, guys. Also, a few other things I do want to say a couple notes here. PNC, no, not that one. Let me go to this one. The fountain at the Point, the fountain down at the Point in Pittsburgh is closed this summer. If you're going down to the Point to take the family, get pictures taken around the fountain, it is closed because they are preparing for the draft in April. So there are going to be things that are going to be not available and things that you normally not able to do because preparations are starting this early. And for certain ways for the draft next year, the fountain at the Point will not be operating this year. So be weird. It'll be weird to be in Pittsburgh and be down there and not see that fountain shooting water up into the air. Also, in about 90 days, guys, as I mentioned, the Steelers do start camp. This is May 1st, the end of July. They will be starting mini camp in the summer, guys. So we got about 90 days, Mike. And that kind of relates to us in a way because Mike and I was talking, and we are going to take our vacation the week of July 4th. Is that right, Mike? July
Yeah.
4th week.
Yeah, July 4th week.
So we're going to take our week off this year, July 4th weekend. Then when we come back, we'll be getting ready and getting started to get into get into camp. I'm sure we'll be sending Derpy up there again this year, and also preseason right after that in August. So guys, we won't be long now, but I'm pretty sure we're about 99% we are taking our week vacation at the beginning of July, so we won't miss any Steeler action. I think there was one other thing. I do have one other thing here, guys. Brittany Griner back in the news as she's under investigation for fixing her team's scores. This just news. It just came out this morning. Of course, Brittany Griner was stuck in Russia after she got caught with her marijuana pen, and that went through the whole trial. And we seen it, and they had her in a cage. I mean, it was insane. But guys, Brittany Griner under investigation for fixing her team's scores. This in the sports world is considered serious, Mike. Right?
Yeah, that is a very, very serious allegation, and man, especially with the how in-depth betting and gambling is now in today in sports. Whew.
Absolutely. I do know we are going to be losing Finch here just a moment because he's got to get ready for work. So Finch, let me ask you before we do start to wrap things up, anything before we take off for the day, sir?
Yeah. Hopefully my voice is better tomorrow because I do plan to be right here at this time again tomorrow. There is no show tomorrow night for Tim and Ryan and I, although anybody who caught it, I will say right now, we have rebranded. We are no longer Two Cranky Jagoffs. Episode 10 last week was the final episode. We will be starting next week as the Three Gooners. Now that Ryan has joined us, Ryan Harris, he's a wonderful addition to the podcast. We have such a good time together chatting, just finding random stuff on the internet to talk about, finding movie titles that have porn in them. Hilarious. And we've been having a good time, and we are looking forward to rebranding and starting episode 1 of Three Gooners next Friday.
Now that we were talking about that a little bit earlier in the week, Finch, what is that? What does that mean, the Three Gooners?
Excuse me. So, we've kind of worked it into a few different connotations. For one, those two guys like to talk about pornography, but like in a funny way.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? In a silly way. That to them, it's very amusing. And I'm a little more level-headed when it comes to that sort of humor, but we still have a good time with it. And we were thinking of new names, Three something. We didn't want to do Three Cranky Jagoffs.
Right.
We liked the name, but it just didn't. I didn't like it that much. So
No, I like you just have to expect people are going to ask, what does this mean?
right. And basically, from what I understand, Urban Dictionary has a gooner or a gooning as somebody who likes to be involved with sexual acts with somebody else's. We normally would call it like cucking or something like that.
Right.
But, when you're letting your somebody else hook up with your old lady at the same time, it's that sort of thing. So we thought it was funny. Also, goons, like a hockey goon, or a silly guy or something like that. We thought that all together it was one of those terms that's not offensive enough, but it still has a little bit of connotation of the attitude of these two gentlemen, the Harris boys. So they're very dark and dirty, and that reflects that.
Good stuff. It seems like you say they're dark and dirty, Finch, but I watch every week, and you know what? You're a guilty party as well, Mr. Sperms of Endearment.
Sperms of Endearment.
and Schindler's Fist.
Mr. Holland's anus.
Very funny. Do check out the Three Gooners. Again, they won't be live this week, but next week they will be back. They last week they were talking about porn names that were
movie titles that were like
titles.
pornographized, like Jurassic Park or porn on the 4th of July, stuff
Schindler's
like that.
Fist,
yeah.
things
Schindler's
like this.
Fist. It's
So
bad.
really funny. I couldn't contain myself. I was holding my side laughing while this conversation. A lot of fun. Go check them fellas out next Friday. Finch, still 9:30, no changes, anything like that. It's still normal schedule, normal everything. It's just a new brand, correct?
That's right. Yeah, it's going to be the same show. It's just we wanted to add Ryan into the title of the show because he is a part of the show and he's pretty great. We like him a lot. And he does a good thing. So it would have been unfair. It's not like our show where you guys have me or Derpy as a guest once in a while. You two are the two dumb yinzers, whereas Ryan is now a hardcore
He's
part
a
of the
gooner.
show. So he's a gooner.
Absolutely.
He's definitely a goon. No doubt about that one.
All right, Finch, I know you do have to go take off. You have a prior obligation. So thank you so much, sir. It was great having you on today. As always, you're always very informative and entertaining, and we can't wait to have you back tomorrow Thank you, Finch. Have a great one, sir.
See you tomorrow, guys
See
and
you, Finch.
gals.
Take care,
Bye,
brother.
everybody.
All right, let me jump. I'm going to finish up some of these messages here on the board, Mike, and then we will move on. John says, which player got more BJs from Ben's sister? Good question. He then goes on to say Derpy could be at a dog pound looking for a forever home. That's true.
Could be.
Derpy, he's about to be on the side of a milk carton if we don't see him here in the next day or two. I'm kind of concerned, but nonetheless, Pirates up 1-0. Caleb's saying bullpen will make sure that that's not a lead in a few innings. Damn right.
Damn right.
Got that right. Caleb's having a hard time finding the Griner story. I don't know. We'll confirm or deny if it's true or not, but that is what I have at the moment. Yinzer Joe says it's incredible that Ward had more seasons in the NFL, but AB had more touchdowns. He was right there. A two touchdown difference. The tweet that broke the gambling story was deleted. Okay, I'm just thinking about with Griner is what he's talking about. Caleb then goes on to say, I think I'm going to go on a ledge and say the Griner story is fake news.
Fake nudes.
Fake nudes.
Fake nudes.
Also, Tortilla says, have a good one, Finch. Mike, anything before we do start getting to wrap things up for today, man?
When are sports teams going to realize you can't rely on the old guys forever? You know, Crosby and Malkin, Letang just haven't won a playoff series in how many years? You know, Aaron Rodgers on the downside of his career. We're hoping he can make the comeback. My Lakers, we're hoping a 41-year-old, 40-year-old LeBron could drag him to another playoff run. Can we get younger guys on my favorite teams here?
I know.
That's all I'm asking.
You know what? It's so in Pittsburgh. It's a big thing.
Yeah.
We either want, people want Cousins. People want Aaron Rodgers. In hockey, I mean, you know, the Crosby and Malkin, we were failing to mention the Letang and Carlson.
Yeah.
And in baseball, the Pirates. I mean, bringing back Andrew McCutcheon.
All four of my teams. Relying on the old
And the
heads.
Lakers still even alive. What a disaster that became.
Look,
They got Luka, right?
They got him. He didn't do much, but we got him.
I heard he's the only one that's playing basketball in LA right now.
No, Braun was like the number one scorer and defender for the Lakers.
Pull up the numbers. I want to talk about that for a couple of minutes before we roll. Pull up what the Lakers are doing and what's going on with the
They lost. They lost 4-1.
Oh, they're already eliminated?
Yeah. That's why I'm bitching about old guys.
I
Because
heard Luka's the whole team. I heard that you know what? I don't even care. I'm gonna be honest with you.
yeah.
They'll decide a winner in the NBA, and I won't even know who it is. I promise.
Yeah.
They want experience. They want experience instead of youth. In Pittsburgh, it's just not working. Let's try the youth thing for a while. See if we can yield any results there. Anything else, Mike?
That's all I got.
I do want to say thank you, everybody, for coming out and hanging out and checking us out today. We certainly appreciate each and every one of you. We truly, honestly, from the bottom of our hearts, we truly do. We want to thank everybody on the board. You guys always keep things interesting on the show. Everybody at home, in the gym, in the car, maybe just taking a walk, wherever you may be, and you're listening to the show today. Thank you so much. We hope we did well enough, guys, and we ask that hopefully you come back tomorrow and we will get ready for the weekend, Mike, with a lot of things going down this weekend with our Pittsburgh sports. Of course, the Riverhounds, the Passion, the Riveters even getting ready to start here in a couple of weeks, Mike, the women's soccer team. A lot of things going, but but most importantly, guys, we will stay on top of everything Steelers, everything about the Steelers in the NFL that we could possibly find, and that will also be something that we talk about tomorrow as well. I can't believe Ryan fell for a fake nude story. The fake nudes always get me, man. Believe me.
Yeah, you should see some of the ones I send them.
Yeah, you got to see it.
Wait, what? Wait, let me rephrase that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Believe me, they're not fake. Yeah.
Oh, they're real.
Oh, man.
With my face plastered all over the hot chicks.
But I do want to say thanks to Finch for stopping by again today. May 1st, guys, just 90 days. 90 days. We'll be enjoying the Steelers at camp, getting ready for their August preseason schedule. So stick around. We will not give up. Between now and then, we will continue to dig to get everything possibly out to everybody that is watching as far as the Steelers in the NFL goes. It's going to be a lot of fun, guys. It's going to be a fun ride. We'll be here before you know, Mike. We were just saying, well, now the Super Bowl is over. We will certainly be waiting for free agency. we will be waiting for the draft. Well, here we are. They're gone, Mike. February is long gone. We're just 90 days to some Steeler action. I can't wait. I know everybody can't wait. It's going to be a lot of fun. John, everybody else in the show, a couple weeks ago, we did debut the Mike Scarlett song while you were gone. I know that, John, because you weren't here for a while. The guys on the board encouraged Mike to grow a Scarlett. You can see it's coming along. Hair grows really fast, you can see. But we our in-house AI band
Flowing locks.
Did in fact
baby.
make a pretty good song about Mike Scarlett and him in Speedos. So do stick around for a couple extra minutes after the show ends. We will put that song back out there, let everybody enjoy the song about Mike Scarlett and his Speedos, guys. But besides for that, Mike, speak now, forever hold your peace, my brother. Anything else you want to say before we roll today?
I'm ready to hear the ballad about my Scarlett and my Speedos.
All right. So, hey, thank you so much, everybody. We can't wait to see everybody tomorrow. Get into the weekend news and scoop. We'll be back at our regular time. We hope to see everybody there. Enjoy the song about Mike as we go off the air. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a great Thursday, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
There's a man named Mike with a shiny bull crown, a Fu Manchu, that's the talk of the town. He's strutting in a Speedo, showing off his tan, the proudest Scarlett in all of the land. Oh, Mike Scarlett shining brighter than the sun, Speedo's hugging tight like he's ready to run. Nemesis Derby's out there shaking his fists, but Mike's just laughing cause he don't give a rip. He co-hosts Yinzers with flair and delight, knows every punchline, he's sharp as a bite. Derpy keeps scheming, trying to steal his spot, but Mike and his Scarlett, they just can't be caught. Oh, Mike Scarlett shining brighter than the sun, Speedo's hugging tight like he's ready to run, Nemesis Derby's out there shaking his fists, but Mike's just laughing cause he don't give a rip. Down at the pool, he's a sight to behold, Scarlett's a trophy worth more than gold. With the cannonball splash, he's making big waves, living life his way, no need to behave. Derpy keeps trying, but he can't compete. Mike and his Speedos, he's got that beat. From his podcast chair to the diving board's height, there's no stopping Mike, he's the king of the night. The pool, he's a sight to behold, Scarlett's a trophy worth more than gold. With the cannonball splash, he's making big waves, living life his way, no need to behave. Derpy keeps trying, but he can't compete. Mike in his Speedos, he's got that beat. From his podcast chair to the diving board's height, there's no stopping Mike, he's the king of the night.